So I decided to go native here. This is the drum circle. What's today? Sunday? I decided to go to the beach. We're here at Kahena Beach in Hawaii. Puna, Hawaii. This is what's left of the drum circle. So this is a Sunday, regular Sunday gathering here. Just made it up the cliff with my bicycle, and that was real difficult. Now I'm buying some lilikoi at the local produce stand, which is here on Sunday. And here we have an expert coconut cracker. So yeah, I made it up the hill. I came out about, must have been about 1 o'clock. Took me about 45 minutes to ride 6 miles. Beautiful ride along the ocean in the tropical forest. And then I hiked down to the beach with my bike, because you don't want to leave it up here, it'll get ripped off, even if it's locked. And that was a bitch, going down the hill, because it's all volcanic rock. So I wound up coming up a different route and had to dismount my wheels, but somebody came along and grabbed my wheels behind me, so I didn't have to go back down and get them. So that was nice. See, it's Sunday, so there's a lot of cars here, a lot of people. The beach was really crowded, and now it's sunset, so I'm going home. So that's Kahena, a black sand beach in Kalapana, about 6 miles from where I live. I haven't ridden down here before on my bike, so I'm really excited that it's so close. It's only a 45-minute bike ride, and it's not very difficult. There's only a little uphill, and you come down here, you can go, it's a clothing optional beach, so you can go skinny dipping, and the water's just wonderful. It's like, I don't know, this time of year it's about 65 maybe, and beautiful black sand. I did a bunch of yoga on the sand, and knocked out about 50 push-ups, and went swimming and body surfing. So it was a good Sunday afternoon. So this is the road out, which is also the road in, of course. Just want to show you what it looks like down here in Puna. You know, right on the ocean. This is basically the southern, way south of Hilo, and as far south as you can go, because you're blocked off. Well, you can go down to where I'm at, which is 6 miles. But then it stops because you run into the National Park, Volcano National Park. All right, so I made it back to Kalapana Gardens. All I gotta say is this road is ferocious. It looks pretty harmless, but it's all gravel and bumps, and it's just gonna shake you like you've never been shaken before. It's 0.8 miles back to my house. It's kind of a nice evening though. Got the clouds over the volcano. Pretty relaxing Sunday night on a 3-day weekend. So, but I am not looking forward to this last 0.8 miles, even though it's like 20 minutes and that's it. So wish me luck. So I made it back home, and I don't know, what is it, 5:30, 6 o'clock? Yeah, so one of my missions in life apparently is to use my car as little as possible. So it worked out, you know. It was a total of about 13 miles round trip, except for the bumpy ass road in and out of here. You know, it was a day that paradise is made of, for sure. Every day is not like that, but you know, that's the way it goes. But today was exceptional. Beautiful ocean, swimming, working out, doing yoga on the sand, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I get off in about 3 or 4 hours. I've taken a graveyard shift as a permanent employee, which is kind of interesting because after working for 3 years as an on-call part-time employee, in which I worked solidly 40 plus hours a week, once I came back over here for Kona, my hours were kind of cut down, some weeks in half, and like a true capitalist, I like the money. So this opportunity came up to be a full-time employee, and I had a choice between being a housing navigator at this shelter, the elderly shelter, which I've done, off and on as a substitute, which is, constant work. Every minute you're here, you're doing, you got things you got to take care of, people you got to see, people you got to deal with. And it's the same money. So essentially you're buying the hours, you're buying the 8 to 4 hours, which, that doesn't really appeal to me. I'd rather have my days off. So I took the other position available here, which is the night shift, the graveyard shift. So I'm getting used to that routine, and it's not really that bad. And it's a lot less work. There's a lot of downtime. It's more security work, property management work, because I'm overseeing an affordable elderly housing project that is filling up with new tenants. It's all brand new. So, that's working out pretty good so far. An interesting side note is what you're exposed to in this kind of environment, and what it amounts to is elderly people that don't have a lot of financial resources. They're on public assistance, Section 8, that kind of thing. And it's just astounding the amount, the severity of the medical issues that they're facing. These are people that have eaten a standard American diet all their life, have never ventured into anything even remotely resembling even vegetarianism. And my God, it is just such a reinforcement of, my being on the right path. If you follow the standard American diet, you're guaranteed to be taken down by some kind of chronic disease. It's just, basic fact. And possibly at an early age than you'd like to be. So, I got people 60s and 70s here, and man, they're reeked with medical issues, So when you see something like that, and that 95% of it is directly related to the food that they eat, right? Totally standard American diet. It's just, it just makes you all that much more confident that what you're doing is absolutely the optimal thing for your health. So it's kind of interesting. And I'm drinking ginger tea and blonde dates. So one of my favorite snacks, especially on a cold night in Hawaii. Cold being, 63 degrees, maybe something like that. If it drops below 70, boy, everybody's putting on jackets and whatnot. Anyways, I just wanted to put out an update. We did play that gig at the Corner Pocket in Kealakekua, Hawaii, and it went pretty well. We weren't really rehearsed enough, but the crowd didn't really notice that, I don't think. They really liked the music. They especially liked my original songs, which was a great boost not for my ego, but just for the fact that I I'm able to realize that I have material that people like, and that in and of itself, if you're a musician, an artist, creative person, is very encouraging. So there was significant applause and appreciation expressed. So that kind of made my day there. It was a pretty good crowd. It filtered out, it thinned out later in the night. Being 3 days before New Year's Eve, there weren't a lot of partiers out yet. I'm sure they were saving it up. So yeah, that went okay, but I did not get any decent video of it. I let one of my band members run his video, and it didn't come out very well, so no big deal. We are, however, about to do another gig on Friday, which is today's Tuesday, so it's 3 days away. And it should be a much more interesting gig because it's at the HEELED Town Friday night market, which is a food and crafts fair, like, you know, a quarter of a city block. They block off, and it'll be a big crowd. You know, it'll be a steady, pretty good sized crowd. So we're getting ready for that, and that's been kind of a pain because my bass player, who's a bona fide professional bassist, has gigs all over the place, and he hasn't been able to rehearse a whole. So downtown HEELED. So this is the gig we're playing tonight at the HEELED Town Friday night farmers market, or not farmers market. It's really a market and crafts fair. So we're going to do 3 hours, 2 1.5 hour sets. As you can see, I'm chomping on bananas. It's basically all I've eaten today. Bananas, celery, had a big banana smoothie with passion fruit, kale. Now I'm eating bananas and celery, so that's gonna keep pumping up my energy level. I've also got a thing of dates in there. And last night I did not eat any fat. I had zucchini spaghetti with no fat, no nuts, no seeds, no avocados, none of that stuff. I always do that before a gig or before some event that's going to require that I put quite a bit of energy and effort into. So when I do that, I would estimate I have probably 30% more energy the following day because I didn't eat any fat at all. You know, it's pretty amazing. So that's what I do. And tonight I'll go home after the gig and have a nice big salad with some sesame tahini and yeah. This is what the back of my car looks like. It's full to the brim. Speakers, guitars, all kinds of stuff. It's downtown Hilo, Hawaii. Kind of an interesting mural here. Nice old buildings. You know, all of this is, I don't know, built in the 1800s originally. So as you can see, we're at an old gas station. And our stage is right here where this car is. So this is the stage. We're going to be looking out over this market here, which doesn't look like much at this point, but this will be completely full by 5 o'clock. And usually this place attracts a lot of people. So on Friday night, people come down. This is what another street down here. This is Wainui Street. There's the ocean down there. Here's the Wednesday night market. A They have a Wednesday night market apparently too. But this is the Friday night market. This is the big one. So this will be interesting. We'll be standing right about, I'll be standing right about here. This is a gate that opens, so I'll be looking out over this, see? And we're up about 8 feet off the ground, so you know it's like a concert stage. It is cement though, and I probably should run a carpet, but I didn't think of it.
A little thing to block my tripod off so that
Right.
I don't run into it.
Oh, nice. So here we are, set up. We got the soundboard. We got everything set up. Took about an hour playing with electronic drums. There's a keyboard player, Steve. And here's what the market's looking like so far. They got a big area right here that's vacant. I assume they get a crowd in here listening to the music. We'll see. But so here we are. The vendors are all set up. Kind of windy today, but it's calming down nicely. The sun is out. I mean, the skies are completely blue. There's not a cloud in the sky, which happens about 5 days a year in Hilo. Started. So unfortunately, you know, in the hectic getting it together to start the show, I misplaced my camera viewfinder, so it's cutting off half the band, keyboard player and myself. You can see the drummer and the bass player. I can't see any of the crowd, so this is one of the problems I have to be very conscious of is when I set up a camera to make sure that it's covering everything, either by taking a little bit of footage and reviewing it. So the gig went really well, actually. It was a rough at first. Got down there, set up, beautiful day, cloudless day. Crowd started coming in. We started playing. I was having trouble with my monitor, so I couldn't hear what I was singing very well. And there's always something that you got to deal with when you do a gig. Some problematic situation. And somebody, the organizer of the market, was doing the sound. Really nice guy. He was doing the sound. So I kept telling him to turn the monitor up, and he maxed it out, and it wasn't making any difference. And I finally realized I had left the volume on the monitor down. Now, a monitor, when you're singing, is very important because it sits right at your feet and it points right up in your face. Okay, the same line as the boom stand on the mic. And so you can hear yourself singing over the band because you can't really hear what's going out to the crowd through what is called the main, front of house speakers. It may be, you just can't hear it. The band, that's what the crowd's hearing, but you on stage, not necessarily hearing that. If you're a bass player and a keyboardist, that's different. But if you're a drummer and a singer, it's very hard to hear what's going on. So that's why a monitor is so important. And so the first 4 or 5 songs, I was dealing with that. It was making me strain my voice. And then I finally realized I hadn't turned the monitor up. And then I turned the monitor up, fed back a little. I lined it up with the boom stand properly. Feedback disappeared and it was good to go. And it started out kind of mediocre. I mean, we were on it, but I had to do some volume adjustment on the guitar and stuff, like that. So once we got warmed up, we started rolling. The crowd started coming in, and to my surprise, because you go into a situation like that thinking, okay, these people don't know who we are, never heard us before. They're more interested in buying food and socializing and all that kind of stuff. So you figure, well, you're just going to provide background music for the market, right? You're just going to play some nice stuff, maybe some rock and roll, and, but nothing too loud, nothing too raucous. And, hopefully they like it. Hopefully it's not offensive. But as it turned out, people were really digging it, and they started gathering up in front of the stage, and they were dancing and stuff. So we just cranked it and went full on rock and roll. And we had a great time, great second set especially. We played, we had a good crowd there probably for an hour and a half out of the 3 hours. It thinned out about 7:30. People started leaving, 7:30, 7:45. So we finished off. And at 8:30, packed up and went home. So it went much better than I expected because not only that, since it was outdoors and it was windy, for some reason my hands were my fingers were not really fluid, I don't know why that is, either the humidity or the wind or something, but it was causing my fingers to be kind of sticky, in terms of moving around the fingerboard. So, I had to bust out at one point, just shred some blues to get my fingers to, get my hands going. And it was kind of interesting that happened because that's never happened to me before. Playing inside, you usually don't get that effect. So, and I had just played inside a couple days before at the Alibi. And it was a stellar set that we did, and I had no problem with that. But at any rate, the crowd didn't really care. They were just grooving on the whole thing, and so it went really well. So I found out my drummer, he's got 2 other projects going, so he doesn't want to rehearse on a regular basis. So I know another drummer who I'm going to try to conscript into the band. The bass player is a pro. He's busy all the time. So I can't count on him to rehearse without some kind of gig being lined up so that he can get paid. And he did well last night because the drummer, wasn't really interested in taking payment. He does it for fun. So the bass player got the drummer's share. So he made like $250. Which is cool. And which is good because then he'll want to play with me whenever I have a gig and I don't have a bass player. But the ideal situation is to get a steady bass player in here to rehearse whether or not we have a gig. Then we can start really building something solid, like I had built with the Strictly Tom Petty band. I think this is going to be much more interesting because I'll be able to play a lot of original music, which is my intention. I want to get the original stuff out there, start recording it. I do have recordings on SoundCloud. If you look for my name, Trace Perot, or if you search for the T-RAY band, or if you search for the Temple of Love, which was the name of my first CD, you'll find some pretty darn old recordings, but they're pretty good, and it was my first shot at recording anything. And I did it all with a MIDI and an interface on a laptop. And, so I played several instruments on the MIDI keyboard, including drums, and I don't know how to play drums. So some of the tracks don't have a drum track, and some of the drum tracks are a little off. But if you have an interest at all, just go to SoundCloud and check that out, because that's all original stuff. It's probably about 10 originals on there. And I think I have like 50 right now under my belt, and I'm in the middle of writing more. So, anyways, that was that. I'm very pleased with how it went. And, on to bigger and better things. I'll be back at the Alibi on Wednesday, jamming a little bit. And I'll probably do that every other week till we get another gig, till we get set up with the new drummer and get a steady bass player in. So that's it.